Hi, my name is Adrienne Carter, and 731 has inspired my journey towards wholeness through healing.
My healing process took me 731 days, and it was hard. It was painful. My first question to you is, who is Adrienne? What does it mean to be Adrienne?
Oh, that's a good question. Just a little story. My mom bought this magnet when I was probably in middle school or high school, and the magnet said Adrienne, and it said meaning is Valley of Light. And then some of the words I don't know by heart, but it said Adrienne is a complicated person, a swirl of conflicting emotions. And it talked about Adrienne having the life of a party but a studious look. And I was like, that is really me. Yeah. And then it said something like her career would be the most rewarding part of her life. And so like as I've grown older, I've resonated with that. I'm still searching for the part about the last part, but like the swirl of conflicting emotions and a complicated person has always been me. I'm a Cancer. I'm really emotional, and growing up, that was a struggle for me because I was surrounded by like my cousin and my sister who have no emotions, and so I'm like, why am I so emotional? Blah blah blah. Like I couldn't understand why I cry a lot, why I got offended by a lot of stuff, and as I got older, I started to just accept it. So I'm very emotional. I'm very like complicated in different ways, good and bad. Like I think I overthink things, but it's a good thing because like I feel like I'm trying to like really understand my life and my life story and like just where I'm going in life or whatever. I'm very adventurous. I love to just explore. I just feel like this life that I'm living, it's just so much to it, from the past to the present and like the future. And so I guess that would go with the complications. Like it's life, like it's a lot of ins and outs and twists and turns or whatever. So that's pretty much Adrienne in a nutshell.
And so you talked a little bit about how you couldn't figure out why you were so emotional. You just felt like you were super emotional as a child, as compared to your friends and your cousins who didn't seem to have any emotions at all. And I really feel like that's something that is kind of pushed or encouraged in our societies, to like lock down your emotions, and you have to seem like you're strong all the time. And so what I believe, and one of the things that I teach, is that in order to heal, you have to feel. Like you got to feel the pain and you have to express that. So shutting it off or turning it off or just being emotionless is detrimental, I feel, to our health. So what do you think now that you're okay with you being emotional? Or has your cousins, now that we're all adults, are they more in tune with their emotions now? Or are they still nah?
I guess probably as we gotten older, one of my cousins, I still be like trying to scratch the surface on her, but for me, I have embraced it. I think it's a part of me as I grow on my journey, like the whole like accepting yourself, flaws and all, 100% loving who you are completely. That's one of the things that I just had to accept, and like it's me. So whoever you are in my life, you have to accept that I'm emotional. Like I'm passionate about things. I'll cry in the drop of a hat. Like don't judge me. If you do, then you're just not supposed to be in my space. Like because if you feel like I'm a bad person for being emotional, then you don't accept me for who I am.
Yeah. So I have like so many things that I want to talk to you about, because you're one of my dearest friends in the Valley, in Phoenix area, and we've just really grown close over the last year. And I remember when I first met you, like I didn't know anything about you, didn't know your story, but I've learned so much about you over time. And I think you are a well-rounded human being, and I think you have a lot going for yourself, and you're very smart and very talented. You're also one of my friends who challenge me and ask me the hard questions, and I find value in people who make you answer the hard questions, because you have to answer them at some point, either now or you have to answer them later. And so you want to have those people around you who ask you the hard questions, who aren't just like, yeah, you should do it, and it's just all fluff. So you like to look at things and really kind of dissect it. But I appreciate that, and I think that people should appreciate that. What you may know or you may not know is 731, you were actually the person who made me start reflecting on my healing journey. And we were in Spain, turning up in Spain. And where were we?
Probably at a restaurant.
But what part of Spain? I can't remember.
Ibiza.
Ibiza, yes, we were in Ibiza,
Or
and
Barcelona. That's where we started.
yeah,
But I think
but we were in
went
Ibiza.
straight.
We were in Ibiza, and we were at the hotel. And you asked me, because I kept talking about healing and being whole, and you asked me, how did you do it though? How do you know? And I did not have an answer for you. And I was like, I didn't know, because I hadn't put it all together and figured it out. And then so I really started to reflect and really started to go back through my journals and all my notes, and like really get back in that time when I was sitting in the bathroom and the water was running on me, sitting in the tub, or looking at the ceiling crying. I like reliving those moments and reflecting and remembering, oh, this is what I did. Yes, I was chanting to myself in the mirror, and these are all the steps that I took to become whole. So thank you for for that. I don't know if you know that, but like, and so everyone's journey is going to be slightly different, and that's what I always tell people. So it's not about seeming perfect. Like, that's the opposite of what healing is. Healing is ugly, and that's okay. Like, it's this ugly, grimy, messy, very, very messy thing, but we're so afraid of it a lot of times. And I don't know where you are on your healing journey, or if you're going through a healing journey, or what the case may be, but if you are on a healing journey, why do you think that people are so afraid of healing? Why do you think we don't want to deal with it?
Well, I don't know if it's afraid. I think some people just don't know, and that's why I asked you the question. Because for me, when I look at you, I feel like you are like, you seem whole in yourself. You seem like you know where you're going and you know what you want, and like kind of unbothered by the things of life. And so that's why I was intrigued to ask you the question, like, well, how did you know that you were, broken and or whatever, and you needed to heal? So I think people just don't know how to start. And the world that we live in, it promotes so much like negativity and hatred and stuff, and that's just the norm. You don't even know you need to get out of it. And if you're not surrounded by people that kind of like spark that question in you, then you just continue to go and you just live your life in this broken, hurtful, sad state or whatever. So I don't know if it's fear. I just feel like you just don't know. And then like when you do start the journey, you started and you say, I want to do this to get better, and tomorrow you try to do it and you fail again. And it's like, well, I'm just gonna keep doing what I was doing because I'm not gonna make. But you have to just believe, like, you just gotta stay the course. I remember when I think I was like 27, and I was like, I don't want to go through my 30s the way I went through my 20s, and I didn't know what that meant when I said that to myself. And I prayed, but I think the years leading up to like now today, I've experienced things that had to, what my favorite guy in the world said, you can't heal it if you don't reveal it, right? And so the things that I've experienced from 27 to now had to help me to reveal the things that I needed to like heal to get to that, worry less woman, that more spiritually led woman, that whole woman that I want to be in my 30s. Like, I had to go through those situations and reveal the things that was driving me to make those mistakes, driving me to hurt myself, driving me to be sad. Like, and so it's just like, and when I went through those, yes, it hurt to go through it, but it helped me to acknowledge the things that I need to focus on, how I need to pay more attention to myself, the things I need to stop doing. And so like, it's just a matter of like, one, being surrounded by people that will spark it in you to say you want to be a better person, you want to heal yourself, you want to start the healing journey. Because if you're not, then you don't know what it is. You just feel like it's normal. Yeah. And a lot of people go through life just feeling like emotional trauma, hurt, pain is normal. Because everybody's dealt a bad hand of cards. You have to just know how to play.
Yes, absolutely. You touched on so many good things, and I don't know which direction to go because you covered a number of things that are really, really good. But the thing you just said most recently that I want to talk about is how we have normalized this living in a chaotic state. And I talked briefly in one of my interviews about how one of the first time that God spoke to me when I was going through my healing journey was when I said, God, I feel lonely. And God responded to me, first time ever hearing the voice of God. And it was, you're not lonely, what you have is peace. And so for me, that was really kind of a defining moment in my journey. And I had to learn to understand the difference between living in chaos and living in peace. And so we kind of live in this world where it seems unattainable. Like, living a truly peaceful life seems unattainable. I understand that, and I felt that way for a while. But healing, and I know that the answer is healing, because that's what I went through, and I was able to wash all of those things away to get to the level to where I am now. So just to pivot a little bit, you have a business promoting self-love called Arc Collection, and I suspect that that is actually probably a component of your healing journey. Like, although you are empowering women, and I want you to talk about what Arc Collection is, what it means, and also what it gives to you while you are empowering other young women like myself and so many who are younger than us and older than us, quite frankly. How does it help Adrienne?
It helps me when a woman say, I need to be reminded of that. So like our collection is an affirmation t-shirt company or brand, I would say. So it's an affirmation t-shirt brand that promotes love, beauty, and self-confidence for women. And so it's basically you're wearing the affirmation. Like a lot of us, have affirmations, being Mary Jane, having affirmations around the room, but you wear this, and so like on a day where you don't feel beautiful and you don't feel bold, you can go and get you can go and get your Art Collection t-shirt and just wear it proud. Like, I believe in the woman embracing the words on this shirt. She is beautiful. Be bold, be courageous in a supernatural state, like above the state that you're in right now. Be bold and be courageous in that. And so what it does for me is when women, feel like this empowered me to get up out my bed today. This empowered me to be my best today. That's the affirmation I wear on my chest, which is close to my heart, which is within me. And so it gives me the joy. And it also helps me to feel as if, like, I'm doing what God told me to do. I felt like, he gave me a vision and told me, you like to inspire people. You like to, encourage people to do their best. Like, encourage women on their journeys to be bold and beautiful and love themselves and be confident in who they are. And so for me, it also makes me feel like, God, I'm doing your work. And I was the easy no. And so sometimes I just go back to, like, it's God's work and he's going to guide you through it or whatever. So,
woo, that's beautiful. It's God's work.
Yeah.
And you're just the vessel doing God's work. That is just beautifully put. So I want to ask you, is there anything in your life, like, that you're in your healing process that pains you to even think about?
There are things that pains me to think about. I think I had an incident in my life where, and I know that I'm kind of past it because it was like when it happened, I couldn't get it out my mind. Like, every day I thought about it, and now it's just kind of like, all right, I'm past that. I don't want to go into too many details, but it helped me. Like, the things that I had to do I'll say what I had to do to get through it. It was just acknowledging it, forgiving myself, knowing that God loved me regardless of what I did, the mistakes that I made. And it goes back to when I say I told myself I wanted to be this woman in my 30s. And so, like, over the last couple of years, things have happened and revealed to me, like, these are the things you may need to change or whatever to get to that person. And so it happened, and I had to accept it and understand that no matter what I do, God has a plan for me regardless, and I can't do anything to change his plan, whether I'm doing something good or bad. And I think that helped me to realize his love for me and, like, how he guides my life. And so I just had to accept his love, forgive myself, and just continue to pay attention to myself, love myself, spend time with myself. And so in the beginning of the situation, definitely painful. Like, I was the scum of the earth to myself. But now it's just like, thank you, God, for forgiving me and teaching me to forgive myself, which also helps me to forgive others and not hold grudges, which was a thing I used to do in the past. So it's kind of like everything happens for a reason, to open up your eyes to who you are and who you should be. And so it helped me to forgive myself and forgive others and move on. And so now I don't think about that every day like I used to. Sometimes I think about it and I'm like, I'm so happy that I, overcame it. But yeah.
And that is, in fact, what the progress of healing looks like. So even physically, if you have a wound, you feel it every day, but as you heal, you don't feel it as much anymore. It starts to feel a little bit better. So it's the irony is that what's inside, what you experience outside is exactly what your emotional being is experiencing inside oftentimes, and we ignore it. We suppress it, which we've talked about. We try just not to deal with it at all. And so congratulations to you for going through that process and really working on healing.
Thank you.
What do you believe is necessary? And you may have kind of hinted this already, but what do you believe is necessary to become whole? To become a whole individual, what do you believe you would have to do?
Pay attention more to myself. Pay attention more to myself and spend time with myself to know myself. Like, I think the world that we live in is so fast paced, and social media makes it where you're comparing yourself to everybody, and this is where you think you should be. But like, if you just spend time with yourself, like for me lately, I so enjoy my chill weekends. Like, I enjoy waking up on Saturday mornings knowing that I went to bed last night at 10 o'clock. Like, because in that time, like, I was at home, like, building the peace within. Versus when I was younger, it's Friday, Saturday nights out partying. You're not paying attention to yourself, and you're releasing energy, and you're not, kind of like building up a positive energy within yourself. So I think it's very important to, like, spend time and pay attention to yourself, because that's how you learn who you are, and you need to be whole and know yourself so that you can be successful in your career, successful in your relationships, and just being the person to live your purpose on this earth, like, to live your best life. Like, that's all over my vision boards from Auntie Oprah. Live your best life. So, yeah, like, to live your best life, you need to know yourself and pay attention more to yourself. Yeah.
And so my last and final question to you was going to just be, what would you tell someone who you feel needs healing, or what is the one message you would tell someone? And I don't know if you just spoke on it, or if there's something else, another message that if there was another young lady who is where you are, beyond or starting her journey, that you wanted to communicate with them, what message would you communicate with them?
Similar to just what I said, but like, just be patient. Be patient with yourself. Like, everything that you expect from somebody else, you need to expect it from yourself.
True.
So be patient with yourself to grow. I always think about, like, I think my 20s were like an identity crisis, a life crisis. Like, I just feel like I had a great 20 years or 10 years in my 20s, but it was a painful road of discovery. I made a lot of mistakes, and I had a lot of great moments, but I made some mistakes, and naturally, like, the bad sometimes feel like is overpowering the good things or whatever. And so if I could talk to the 20-year-old Adrienne, or a girl that's going to grow through her 20s, it's just like, be patient with yourself. Take every lesson as the strength on your journey. Like, it's definitely going to build you to be who you ultimately are supposed to be. Just stay open. Keep your heart open to life. Like, don't let anything that's negative stay in. Let it come in, let it go out, or whatever. And that's my mantra now. Like, keep your heart open, let life just flow through.
Yeah. So yeah. But thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
And we really, really appreciate you being down with 731.
Yes.
I thank you for forcing me to think back to why the hell did I even get on this journey? Like, what was it? Like, how did it start? And really making me go back to all of it and documenting it, because it's something that people need, and it is so rewarding to be on the other side of feeling like sometimes I'm just in my house and I'm just like, because it's just it's euphoric. It's such a great feeling. And I wish that I could bottle it up and give it to people, but I can't.
I wish you could.
I can't. And so the only thing I know how to do is to try to teach people the tools, to say, here's the tools, you have to do the work, right? So thank you.
Thank you. No problem. I'm happy to be a part.
Thanks.
I came out on the other side, and I have a great story. We're gonna dig deep inside of you and find that power that's within you.